What we do know is we got two more quarterbacks here.
Yeah.
They're in the top 24.
Right.
And they are in their own tier, which is titled Escaped from New York. Two guys tied with a common theme of they went to New York, they survived New York barely, but now are thriving elsewhere.
Yes, they are, and that'll be Sam Darnold and Geno Smith, okay? And if, again, for transparency here, I'd probably put Geno Smith a little ahead of Sam Darnold for where he is, but let's start off with Sam Darnold and what he was this past year. A lot of good. Like a lot of good. Season started off really on a really high note. I mean, he was firing, throwing the ball all over the field, and you went, wow, 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 wow. They got off to a 5-0 start, right? But then you started to see some flaws. Saw some flaws when they had their first loss after the bye to the Lions. The Rams game, they lose that one. Hey, struggles against the Jacksonville Jaguars down there in Jacksonville a few weeks after that, right? And so let's get into all the good and the bad. All right, so first off, the good is, and I've always said this about Sam Darnold, it's an incredibly quick release. I feel like this is like you could copy this from every year we've had a quarterback ranking. Incredibly quick release, really gifted intermediate to short thrower of the football, right? Because he can get it out so quick and he's pretty accurate within that, and he's got more power on his arm than I think he gets credit for. It's not like a, oh my gosh, wow arm, right? But he's always been good there. And Kevin O'Connell did a good job of finding ways to get him to capitalize on those type of throws. This year, I will say, he got better at deep ball throwing. That was one thing I said in years past where I went, hey, 10, 12, 8, 14, he's a machine. He's great. That's awesome. But whenever it's like, whoa, there's 25, there's 30, whoa, there's a post route for 50, that was always like, he could be a little better there, right? They took advantage of a lot that was there this year in that department. So that all improved as well. I feel like a lot of the things that I'm going to talk about negatively with Sam Darnold, because we're still in a little bit of the unknown phase of the career, is like experience. It's experience related. Early in the year, he hit those struggles I talked about when he lost to the Rams and the Lions and looked like crap against Jacksonville. Was a period of time, and the year's long, so you go through different little stretches. He was so spoiled by Kevin O'Connell, the offense, early in the year. The first guy was open so much that when he got to that part of the year, teams started to go, wait, this is how they're attacking, right? You get into tendencies. You get to start to know how O'Connell's calling plays, how Darnold's playing. Those first reads weren't like, open every time like they were the first few weeks. And he had an adjustment period there where it was like, dude, come on, get off the first read. Kevin O'Connell can't make the first guy wide open every time. We got to move off of that, right? After that Jacksonville game, it started to correct itself. And you started to go, damn, okay, he's got it now. He is getting off the read. Look at him in the pocket. He's processing things the right way, all of that. But then we got into late in the year. And, right, that was where I was interested to go back and look and just go, what exactly was it late in the year?
Okay.
Right?
Because he still had some good games late.
He did.
Week 13, 5 touchdowns,
Exactly.
347 against Atlanta.
Yep.
You saw week 16.
Atlanta was phenomenal.
Week 16, Green Bay, he goes for 377, 3 touchdowns there. So there were still some good games late in the year.
There was a lot of good games. There really was. It's just really what we're talking about is just the last 2 games, really. That's what we're talking about. And, hey, was he off a little bit? Sure, yeah. Okay, yeah. And I just mean physically. Sometimes you're going to be off. All right, yeah, all of that. But I think what I came down to that, and this is where I get back to, I think, just the experience part of, late season football. The intensity goes up a little bit. Coaches and teams do some things maybe outside the ordinary a little bit more, right? We always play this against this coverage, but damn, this is a big game. They know we're going to play this. Let's change our tendency. They know us really well. Let's do something totally weird, right? And that, to me, is the next phase he has to get better at. When the play, not just the first read, if the defenders are in the right, if it's cover 2 and he knows it's cover 2 in the play, he'll go through the right reads and make the right throw and do all that. But it's like, oh, wait, it's a crazy blitz. And, oh, wait, my guy might not be exactly where he was supposed to be right at this moment because somebody bumped him off the line of scrimmage or he had to run around somebody that's usually not there when we run this pattern. But it's like, no, he's open. He's just, wait a second. He's going to be open. And he'd be, all right, I've already moved on. Or the guy couldn't run the route exactly the way he wanted to because it was a different defense, right? Maybe they didn't prepare for it. And the ball was a little off. Stuff like that. internal clock, I think because of the big moments at times was a little thrown off. And I think a little bit because of like, hey, wait, we prepared for this blitz. Set hut. Oh, no, what's this blitz? Oh, no, hold on. Everything in my head split up. And it's like, why? Number 1 was open. You got off him and went to number 2 and 3 before 1 finished his route, right? There was stuff like that where, again, that's where I got into experience because I don't see a ton of issues physically. There's not flaws there. It's not always wow. You heard about the release. The arm is very strong. It's not like the strongest, but it's damn strong. And he can move around the pocket and adjust pretty well within the confines of the pocket to find little lanes and throw, which you'll like about him in his game. But I want to say it's like feel, experience, just having a little bit more of a I don't even know how to phrase it, a backyard sense of like, the game's not always going to be perfect. It's not always going to be how Kevin O'Connell drew it up or Kubiak draws it up this year in Seattle. Every now and then you got to go, wait, this part of the field's open. My guy's about to come in there. It might not exactly been the way it was drawn up, but I got to hit this. And you got to play football that way. And I feel like that's maybe the part Sam Darnold has to get better at as we go forward here.
If you were to tell me he's 33 years old, I'd be like, that sounds about right. He's still
Right?
27 years
incredible.
old.
That's incredible.
We'll turn 28 here in just June 5th. So
He's
just
barely
about a
older
week or
than
so.
Tyler Shuck.
Which is insane.
Right.
Which is insane. And he's moved up a little bit in your ranking series. 33rd last year in your countdown, 27 the year before that. Now he's in the top 24. And so he is trending in an upward direction.
He just got to keep playing. We got to see him improve some of the things we talked about right there, right? There is like moments of, I don't know what the defense is, the pocket's collapsing, and I just throw it into a group of people, right? A little too much where you're like, well, wait, you can't do that. You can't just like, oh, I thought this guy's been open all year when I get to the third read. You can't just go 1, 2, hey, number 3's always open and just throw it unconsciously, right? So there was some of that as well. You know, I think at times, but I think more with him than anything just goes experience with some team and support around him. I expect him to get better, and I think probably ultimately he's going to fit the way they're going to play offense even more with the Seattle Seahawks and Kubiak as compared to O'Connell. And that's where I'm excited for it, and I do expect him to still play pretty high-level football. It's not going to look like it did last year. Last year was a special year, and that's a special coach, and they had some talent there. They got some new moving parts there in Seattle, and they're going to be learning a new offense. But I still think Sam Darnold clearly a starting quarterback in the NFL and still room to grow as a player.
I think we have some video of him throwing to Jackson Smith and Jigba. He's got Cooper Kupp over there now. Marquez Valdez-Scantling is there. And so some intriguing weapons for sure.
Definitely.
And that's a
definitely that
13-yard gain.
Going to be more of a you're going to be more of a Shanahan style of offense where you're going to see play action, get the ball out of your hands quick, guys flying over the middle, where that's where he thrives. And he's going to be able to do that, put pace on the ball, let these guys run after the catch. This is why they went and got him. Because Kubiak saw it when he was practicing with Shanahan and the 49ers when Sam Darnold was there. And they went, man, there's a lot of things that make sense for how we want to play here out in San Francisco, let alone Seattle, whatever. So I think they got their guy, and we'll see how good they are. But I think they've improved their O-line. Yeah. And again, like I said, I think it's more than anything about him is just a little bit of better feel, right? Not hanging onto the first receiver at times and doing that. And maybe even being more accepting of a negative play at times instead of just going, wait, I'm just going to throw it in this area so I don't get sacked or something negative doesn't happen that way.
So as I mentioned, trending up in your rankings, Escape from New York, but Geno Smith also in this tier, trending down a bit in your rankings. So he was 19th last year for you. He was 15th the year before. So this is a little bit lower than that.
It's hard. This is a hard one. He's a hard one. And there's some other quarterbacks that I like that are coming up in the world right now too that, pass him by a little. I don't think it was Geno Smith's best year. Now, let me say this. With Geno Smith, I mean, the physical ability is real. It's better than Sam Darnold and what I just talked about. His arm is crazy strong. I mean, it's versatile. He could throw off his back foot. He could throw its sidearm. He can really do anything you want as far as that's concerned. That's also one of his problems, though, because there's just a little bit like I talked about with Sam Darnold liking the first read too much. Geno Smith is not too different that way. The first read, and then he has even more confidence in Sam Darnold in his arm and his ability to squeeze it into a tight window. And that can get him in trouble. Again, he's a 70% passer as far as completion percentage. But 21 touchdowns, somewhere in the range, 15 or 16 interceptions, right? That doesn't match up all the way. That tells you that, hey, he can kind of put the ball where he wants to, but he's taking too many chances. And I think you see that in his in his worst games and his worst moments. That's what it kind of always came out to me to be. It's just like, wow, that's just too tight in this situation. Why try to make that throw? Or, it's first down. Why are we trying to be so aggressive here when there's people all around this guy, right? There's a little too much of that at times. And then also, too, within that aggressive decision-making, at times, too, being like, okay, that guy's covered, right? Don't keep sitting on him waiting forever, right? And then try to squeeze it in there and throw an interception. There's got to be a better, what I would say with Geno Smith, get out of jail plan. What I mean by that is just like, hey, things aren't right, and they're not going to be right a lot of times in the NFL. As a quarterback, it's your job to go, wait, I know I want to attack here and here, but if all fails, where am I going to get the ball out of my hand that makes sense to kind of keep us in a good position? And that, to me, is something that Geno Smith lacks in as well. And he can get better in that department, because a lot of those times I want to go, he held on too long for one and either threw an incompletion or threw an interception or took a sack, and you want to go, what? There was an underneath guy here. Just get it to him. Why? You had time to get it to him, but you were being a little too greedy there, and that's some of the good and the bad of Geno Smith.
PFF really likes him.
Yeah.
Though they ranked him 10th recently. He was their he has their 6th highest grade over the last 2 seasons, just behind Patrick Mahomes.
Wow.
So they credited him with 94 big-time throws.
Yeah, the big-time throws
That's
are
in the
real.
last 3 seasons, second behind Josh Allen's 118. But they also have him with an NFL high 67 turnover-worthy play number. Josh Allen second at 64. And so just like you mentioned, the good and the bad. And you say he's got to get better in some of these things. I mean, he's 34.
I know.
Though, so have we seen the best of Smith?
That's the question. That is the question. We're going to hit some guys that are older than, or in that same boat as far as older quarterbacks, to where you just go, is there any more to tap into here to where they get better and do things that way, right? And I hope so. I would hope that, Geno it's not anything physical again. It's more just about kind of perfecting the position. And like a Sam Darnold, even though he's older, he's still not like incredibly experienced as far as being a starting quarterback and all that. It's still fairly new to him, right? This will be his, 3rd year as a starter up there in Seattle. So, from that.
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, excuse me. But this is his 3rd year in a row being the bona fide starter, the guy in all of that.
This will be 4.
But it will be 4. Okay, I'm off by a year.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that's the thing I look at more times than not, is not always looking for the big play, not always looking to be sexy. They have too many moments when you watch them in Seattle where you go, wait, you guys are too good to be 3 and out again, 3 and out again, 3 and out again. Okay? And I'm not putting that all on him, but at times I'm going to go, wait, you just went 3 and out, and then you went 3 and out again. And now it's first down, and you're impatient, but you want to throw a deep crosser, and it's like he's covered, and the window's tight. And there's just a guy underneath here. Let's get the drive going. Instead of going 3 and out for the 3rd time in a row, like there's DK Metcalf on an under route. Let's just get a 7-yard gain, and then we'll go from there, and we'll build on that. And there's too many moments like that I think show up at times where you just go like a little bit more surgicality and consistency that way. His big plays, into your stat, and I had no idea about that, they're wowing. They're wowing. But you can watch games where you go, the stat line's good, blah, 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 blah. But you just go, wait, there's too many times here where it's like, oh, well, yeah, there was that one big play. But damn, there wasn't anything else like real good after that. It was like, okay, here's a short throw, a short throw, a short throw. Oh, let me sit and wait for the big throw, the big throw, the big throw, the big throw. And I think at times of that, it threw off their offense off kilter and hurt his game in general as well. And I bet you that's one of the reasons they decided to move on from him. I would think it's that. I would think Mike McDonald's going, wait, you're not Lamar. We're not going to look for plays, every big plays all the time. I want you to run an offense. I want to chew up some clock because I like to play through my defense a little bit. Mm-hmm. And that's where Geno maybe wasn't as conducive to that style of play as maybe they would have liked.
I mean, it was real interesting with these two quarterbacks being in the same tier for you, because it was two teams, Seattle and Las Vegas, that needed a quarterback, both looking at Geno, both looking at Sam Darnold here.
I know,
They got who they got here. And some of that was cost, too, on how much they were asking and demanding and long-term term and what you're looking for in the future here. But I'm sorry. At the beginning, you said who would you take over? Who's a little bit higher, Geno?
I would
or
go
Sam?
Geno just a little
So
bit
you
over.
still
him.
have, even after everything you said about Geno, you still have him a little over Sam right now.
I would. Geno, I think, is capable of more, I guess is what I would say.
Sure.
Geno just got to dial it back a little bit and be a hair more conservative. Even with some of the interceptions, it's just like, again, get the ball out of your hand. The pocket's collapsing. DK Metcalf, I know he might be about to come and open like 25 yards down the field in the middle, but it's too late. And now your arm's hit. Or, you can't quite follow through because things are so bad, and now the throw doesn't go exactly where you want to. And him and Sam Darnold both have that a little bit of just like, hey, avert disaster a hair quicker so we don't hit disaster, right? And that's where they toy with that a hair a little too much. But, yes, I like Geno Smith's talent better. And Geno's arm, to me, is a game-changing arm. It's not Josh Allen, Lamar, or Mahomes, but it would be a next group down of guys where I'd go, Geno, if you saw him on the field and you saw him throwing, you'd go, woo, I didn't realize he could spin it and throw it like that and throw it that easy and off his back foot, sidearm, and still throw a 20-yard out route and do all that. That's where Geno can really open up eyes that way. Ooh. And you can see right there, right?
To Ashton Genty.
If you're watching some of these throws, the ball, it is a piss missile, right? It really is. There's the rookie Beck, right? So there's a lot of impressive arm talent with Geno Smith. Now it's just, I think, nuance, polish, keeping the team in great positions and playing it that way.
Option too. Chip Kelly there.
They're going to bring out everything, I'm sure. Geno moves well. Sam Darnold moves well. They move better than they realize. We might not think of them as scramblers and doing all that, but they can run. They can get first downs. Geno could probably become better at scrambling, moving in the pocket, and then making throws. If you wanted me to say an area he could be pushed in, that would be another area where I think there's more than one tap there. But this is where Geno's hard too. They couldn't run the ball very good there in Seattle. They didn't pass protect very well. I was never in love with their offense up there altogether. And that's what gets hard with some of these guys at times, because you're just like, man, there's other extenuating factors that affect their play. But, yeah, Geno Smith, Sam Darnold, starting quarterbacks, and I do think room to improve for both of them to where they could be better players than what they are.
They escaped New York, but they are in the pyramid together now.
Yo, homies, what's up? Thanks for watching Chris Simms Unbuttoned. And just because the weather's warm doesn't mean football ain't still on our brains right here.
We are still working, so smash that subscribe button. We got all the training camp news, preseason news, everything up until kickoff night.
Thanks for watching. And again, remember to hit that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.